Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are staying down on the floor for this mat bar workout that's really going to focus on lower body, especially inner outer thighs and glutes, as well as the core. So we will be using a small Pilates ball. Of course, if you don't have one, you can grab a cushion or something and go ahead, roll out your mat, and let's go. Hi guys, welcome back. So we're obviously just down on the mat today. It's going to be a mat bar workout using ball for a little bit of resistance here. And of course, it's going to be in the description anyway. And if you guys have been following along lately, you'll know these workouts right now, of course, are pregnancy friendly. As well, let's see, this one will also be postpartum friendly. And just so you know, this is actually going to be the last workout that I'm going to film for a little while. I'm hoping to be back with some postpartum workouts as well sometime in the future. But for now, this is going to be my ending point on YouTube. Saying that, if you want more content from me, including workouts and things, you can go follow me over on Instagram at F2D Fitness. I will be continuing to post over on there right up until I give birth. So most likely in around a month or so, who knows, so you never know. But we're gonna crack on with this workout anyway. I'm sorry if the cats are a little bit crazy in the background. You might hear Layla now. Layla's not feeling very well, so we're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our best with this. Leo's a little put off by it too. For a moment. All right, we're gonna start off with a nice gentle warm up here just to open up the hips a little bit. So you're gonna bring hands underneath shoulders here. You're gonna open knees out, feet together, and we're gonna press back into a nice wide leg child's pose there. From there, reaching nice and long forward. We're just going to come forward, push the hips forward a little bit, still pulling navel in, so supported in the core there, but just to get that nice little hip opening. All right, starting here in 3, 2, 1. So back to child's pose, forward, just gentle press forward with the hips, squeezing the glutes, and like I say, keeping core engaged. So thinking navel to spine. Exhale back, inhale, forward. So should feel nice, especially if you're doing this, well, I guess anytime really. First thing in the morning, at the end of a long day, whenever you feel like you need a bit of hip opening, anytime is a good time. And if you guys have missed it, of course, there are a number of pregnancy-friendly workouts at this point. Oh, hey, buddy. Go ahead, stay forward here. Bring the knees together. You're gonna step the left foot to the outside of left hand. We're gonna tuck right toes, push back through the right heel, so lifting that knee, and then lower. And then we're just gonna roll back, hamstring stretch. Again, so come forward to that lunge, tuck toes, push back, getting stretched through that front hip flexor, release the back knee, roll back, hamstring stretch. So just at your own pace here, nice deep breaths. And you can find, I believe it will be linked down below, there is actually a playlist where all of the pregnancy-friendly workouts hang out. So if you're looking for a bit of a stockpile there. And also just a reminder that these workouts are also great if you are not pregnant. They're largely, I would say, in fact, they are the same level as my normal kind of bar workouts. Last one here. Step that left leg back, come to hands and knees, and we're just gonna draw a circle with that left knee going outward. So yeah, they are largely the same level of difficulty. The one big difference, of course, is that there is not that intense ab component. So you can easily go over, I believe I also have a playlist. If you go under my playlist, I have one that's dedicated just to ab workouts. So if you wanna add some abs, easily done. Go ahead, reverse that circle, circling inward now. keeping back nice and flat, hips square to the floor, pulling up through the navel, equal weight here in both hands. But energetically, we're really thinking from the middle. So you don't want to be too heavy in the hands, period. Last one here, and then go ahead, walk the knees back a little bit again here, step right foot to the outside of right hand. We're gonna lift, lower that back knee, roll back, nice little hamstring stretch. So lunge, lift, stretching out that rear front hip flexor, just getting all the angles here warmed up. Because if it is a mat bar workout, you can bet that we're gonna be working in a turnout for at least a good chunk of it. You can bet on it. So we just wanna make sure hips, and really actually the turnout muscles supporting the hips, are all warm, ready to play. All right, go ahead, bring that right leg back. Again, hands and knees here, and we'll circle outward first. So lifting out to the side, drawing nice big circle, really activating glutes here, especially the corner of the glutes. And as I said, core is engaged, so we're pulling up with the navel. And go ahead, reverse direction, thinking nice, flat, open across the shoulders. Oh, here's Luna. I feel like we've already had the full set of cats up here today. That's perfect for this kind of final video I'm going to be filming for a while. Oh my God, here comes Leo again. Hi, babe. Everyone's making an appearance. Last one here, go ahead and release. Okay, that is our warm-up done. You're gonna flip around here, just come into a seated position. I'm being swarmed. I'm being swarmed by cats right now. So we're gonna have the feet, or the legs rather, out in this butterfly position here. You can have heels apart, toes together, knees dropped open. And from there, just lowering down to the elbows. Now, while you're on the elbows here, in terms of the lower back, you don't want to be collapsing into the shoulders. So if the shoulders are up by the ears like this, no. Really press up and out of it. Lower back stays away from the floor, and we keep the abs engaged. So I'm gonna be starting with my left leg here. It's gonna be, excuse me, Luna, extended out long, inner thigh angled up to the ceiling, knee out to the side, so both legs are turned out. We exhale, lift, inhale, lower. So you'll be lifting to about a 45-degree angle. If you're kicking it, all the way up here, you can see my back just released to do that. So now it's coming from back and hips rather than the inner thigh and lower abs. Okay, so keep it at about a 45, nice and controlled, slow lower down, abs stay engaged the whole time. And one thing here, if you are pregnant, that you really want to look out for is if you see the abs doming or coning. They shouldn't do it in this position, but if you see that happening at all, lift all the way up and you'll just keep this even a little bit smaller, okay? So that's our first move here in 3, 2, 1. And yes, I am aware that there's just a giant wad of cat hair there down on my leg. Sorry if that's bothering you. There's gonna be more. There's just gonna be more. Hey, buddy. What is it? Oh, sit right on that. Okay. So exhale, lift. Inhale, slow, lower. And most important things to be aware of during this one, of course, the core engagement, and then keeping the leg nice and long and straight, and the turnout. So actually the range of motion here in terms of how high you're bringing it, that's only secondary to that other stuff. So if you can maintain that turnout, keep a nice straight leg, and also get a big lift there without releasing the core, by all means,
go for it. But if not, just keep it to where all the appropriate muscle groups are working. All right, keep this one up. We're gonna bring it back in. You can tap the toes together, extend, tap back in. So it's gonna be nice symmetrical butterfly here when you tap in. And then we're bringing it, pressing it directly in front of the hip. So there is a motion from the hip as well as the knee. I'm not just extending the knee out to the side like that. It is coming in front of me. Still thinking inner thigh up to the ceiling, knees angled out to the side. So big inner thigh burner just to kick things off. And I have cat hair also in my eye. Can I remove it while carrying on with these? Sure. Sure. Navel to spine. And again, just check in periodically, because sometimes the focus here, right, if we're not focused on the shoulders, which we're probably not, keep next one long, little pulses here. You might just start to collapse back. Like I say, don't do that. And with these pulses, keep them low and slow. Really focus your energy, focus your awareness on the inner thigh. So yeah, don't let the torso move around to help out here. Don't go too fast because it will become more about the joints the faster it goes. Just think low and slow, keeping that length through the leg. It was a little bit needlessly cruel to do a full minute here, but at this point we're almost there. So we might as well just carry on with it. What would have been really cruel here is an ankle weight. We're not using the ankle weight. I mean, you could. Maybe you are. Go ahead, release. Okay, so that same side that was just lifting, we're gonna roll over onto that side. So just lifting the left, we're rolling over onto the left side. Slightly easier series here, I think. At least we get to lie down. Top leg is crossing over, bottom leg long, still working the inner thigh, but now it's gonna be in parallel. We're gonna lift and lower, toes pointed. Again, emphasis here on the length of the leg in 3, 2, 1. So engaging inner thigh, that's where I'm lifting from, slow, lower. Ankle and knee, just stay nice and tight here. I'm staying balanced on the hip bone, so hip bones are stacked. Navel pulling in to spine. Feels at least a little bit more relaxed though. Like I say, when you're lying down, you can kind of trick yourself into thinking that it's not too bad. Even though it still has a lot of inner thigh. All right, all the cats have settled, I think. That might have been it for the cat sightings for today. But it was a good last little hurrah for them. Exhaling on each lift. And then don't let the leg just drop back down. Control it back down. All right, keep your next one lifted, and we're gonna do a little bend, heel to butt, exhale, extend. Every time you're extending there, you can think about extending at a slightly higher angle. Make sure you're pausing in that extension. Fully straighten the knee, show the position before we bend it. So there is a pause there. It's not just like a quick in and out, sort of like shaking it out where it really just stays in the knee. So not an easy series here without an ankle weight. Like I say, I mean, you could add an ankle weight. I've been a little bit ankle weight crazy lately. Been using them a lot. So frankly, I'm enjoying this break from an ankle weight. I'm not missing it here at all. I'm definitely feeling the intensity of this without it, but by all means, if you want to crank this up, add in an ankle weight. Do one more here. We're gonna keep that leg straight. We're gonna keep it lifted. No surprises. We're doing a pulse here. So again, control that pulse all the way from the top of the leg, and it is a pulse up, not down. This is important. Sometimes what I see people do is go down, up, down, up, down, up. that really just feels like, oh, I'm getting a break and then I'm squeezing. I'm getting a break and then squeezing. When really what it should be is I'm squeezing, now I'm squeezing a little bit harder. Now I'm squeezing a little bit harder, a little bit more. But the whole way through, there's no break in the pulse. You're staying at the top part of the motion. You're staying super mega engaged there the entire time. So just check yourself there. It's really, really common to get into that habit of like, I'm going to drop and then lift, drop and then lift. And it's not. It is purely a lift. No drop. No drop. All right, go ahead. And release. I feel that. All right. Stack the legs here. Next little series now, we're actually going to kind of switch legs, and it's going to be this top guy. So pick up the feet here. We're going to be doing a clamshell there in that elevated position. Then top leg, internal rotation, turning the knee down, ankle lifts up, bring feet back together, and we close it off. In 3, 2, 1. So, whoop, there we go. Clamshell, internal rotation, boom, boom. Think about the muscle groups there that are powering that internal rotation. So it's not just that the hip is suddenly turning forward. Again, we don't want to just think joints. You shouldn't be rotating the whole torso forward with it. It really should just be controlled there. And I find when you really control these ones, they actually can feel quite nice. It's just a muscle group that doesn't necessarily get a huge amount of play during the day. And the nice thing you'll notice here about an internal rotation, so when we externally rotate, as we open into that clamshell, it actually shortens the space in your lower back and pelvis. When we internally rotate, now it widens it. Really good one for birth prep. Little theme I'm going for right now. All right, keep the knees open here, toes together. We're gonna extend leg, touch back in. So it's gonna be kind of a high front diagonal. If you're all the way up here, again, I'm gonna question it because it means that the hip is probably doing a fair bit of it. So we wanna find that turnout from the muscles, not the joint. Notice the difference there. So joints stay nice and controlled in the same spot. Within that, sure, of course, we are opening as much as we possibly can, but that is going to be more limited than if I suddenly also open the hip and I'm kicking all the way up over here. Still thinking navel into spine, and you still should be balanced on that bottom hip bone. So check yourself here. If you're like rolled back, if you can feel any part of your bottom butt cheek touching mat, you are rolled too far back. Okay, so stay on the side, keeping hips stacked. One more here will do it. And then we're gonna pop ourselves up to the elbow here, knees bent. We're gonna do a side plank lift with a clamshell. So clamshell, tap hips back down. Clamshell, tap hips back down. And you can do whatever you want with that top arm. I do sometimes enjoy just reaching it all the way up because it does give a little bit more of that chest expansion. You could also do kind of fingertips just behind the nape of the neck. Same thing, just opens up a little bit more through chest and shoulders. Really pushing from that bottom glute actually. So at the top, you're thinking of squeezing that bottom glute nice and tight, giving you that support. Oh, what do you know? He's back. Hi, babe. I don't know why he's being so extra lovey right now. Hi, buddy. Probably because he wants food. Last one here, and go ahead. Release. Okay. Final thing we're gonna do here on a single side, Leo permitting, you're gonna come just gently onto your back. Excuse me, buddy. Oh, buddy. Coming gently onto your back here. Knees bent, feet just tracking forward, and we'll do right leg extended. Knees are gonna be in line there, so it is a kind of challenging angle. We'll be doing a bridge lift, open, that's as far as I can open, but hopefully you guys can open a little bit more without a wall there, and then lower back down. So out, in, lower, down. That's the move. If that is super, super uncomfortable, if you're feeling it really like tight in the back, then no worries, just keep both feet down, do a normal bridge lift there, okay? Always options. We're starting here though in 3, 2, 1. So lift, slow out, in, keeping hips level, lower down. Really thinking of that inner thigh engagement there on that little sweep. And I'm not releasing my full weight back into the floor here. It's just a tap. So I'm not really releasing. I'm not really like resting there. It's just a tap, out, in. Left knee should stay tracking straight forward throughout. So just a thing to be aware of, it shouldn't be going out to provide like a counterbalance to the right. It also shouldn't be getting pulled with the right. It's gotta stay nice and strong. So again, that's where we're working some of those stabilizing muscles, inner and outer thigh. Try to keep an eye on the timer at the same time. Let me just hold it up for myself so we don't do too many of these. All right, last one there. Now cross right ankle over left knee, lift up here into a number 4, and we're just gonna pulsate here. So really focusing, squeezing that left corner glute, pressing the right knee out away from you. So you're getting a little bit of a stretch and a whole lot of work at the same time. Sorry, my face just looks like a cat body right now. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. It's not the nicest for me right now, I have to admit, because I'm a little bit warm. And so having like a furry cat just like at the side of my face is maybe not the most desirable at this exact moment, but it's cool. It's cool. Staying high and tight here. So again, it's pulse up, not a drop in pulse. Few more seconds here. Do one more, and whoop, release. Okie dokie. If you're pregnant, go ahead, roll onto one side. Excuse me. And all the way up. Face full of cat hair. Love that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, flip around, face the other direction. And we're gonna do all of that now on the second side. So again, starting back on the elbows here, or the hands. We're gonna drop knees open. Right leg this time is extended long. Inner thigh up to the ceiling. We lift and lower in 3, 2, 1. So exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Shoulders pressing down and away. Core engage. So angle of the hips, reminder, does not change here as you're lifting that leg. And keeping abs engaged to prevent that doming if you're pregnant or also recently postpartum, when you might have a bit of an abdominal split. Now, in my experience, I do work with a lot of pre and postnatal training. In my experience, if you do nothing at all and just allow your abs to heal, they will come back together pretty quickly with an ab split, generally speaking. Of course, there are exceptions to this. I have seen some exceptions. Usually, well, I'll get to that. Last one here, we keep it lifted, touch toes together, knees are turned out and equal, extend, pressing into center. But typically, most of the time, if you do nothing at all, abs will come back together. Now, there's some exercises you can do that'll help bring the abs together a little bit stronger or faster, and that's excellent as well. That's gonna be my plan, of course, because why not? If you are actively doing things that are keeping the abs separated, that's where they're gonna stay more separated. And also kind of some of the more extreme cases I've seen are obviously like women who have had multiples, where there is just a bigger split to start with. And also women who had several pregnancies quite close together, because there just isn't, if you don't give the abs and everything sufficient time to recover and heal before another one comes along, keep this straight, little pulse, it gets a little bit harder, right, every time. So those are cases I have seen, kind of the outliers where yeah, an ab split maybe hangs around a bit longer, or in some cases can become more permanent, which you don't want. But generally, saying this, you know, if you're pregnant or recently postpartum and you're worried about it, generally, if you do nothing at all, just leave it alone. It is designed to go back into place. It is designed to heal. So do not worry. But it really helps to think about that core engagement. Oh, these pulses. Why did we do a minute of pulses? I don't know, but it's what's happening. We did it on the first side. We're doing it again. My inner thigh is on fire. Last few seconds here. Keep that knee locked straight and go ahead, release. Okay, roll over onto that side. Again, I find this is where it gets just a tiny bit easier. So top leg crosses over, bottom leg nice and long, toes pointed, full lift in 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lift, inhale, lower. Again, knees straight, balanced right on that bottom hip bone, keeping that length in the leg. It feels really, really warm in here this morning. I don't know if that's just because I'm feeling progressively hotter. I think that's partially it. Like, I've definitely run a lot hotter since being pregnant. I think that's pretty common. Yeah, and as we get to the end of it, I feel like I'm just feeling hotter still. So there we go. I also am right next to that radiator, probably not helping. These radiators do put off a lot of heat. Love a radiated heat though. Keep next one lifted, and we're gonna bend, extend. The cats also love the radiators because we have various kind of like beds and boxes and things positioned strategically in front of radiators, and it's like their favorite thing ever. You know, if you have cats, they love heat. They just love it. Luna especially. Big fan. But no, all of them, they'll all post up. Luna's probably the biggest lover of like sun specifically. So like when we start getting sun on our back patio, she will be out there just fully in it. Exhaling on each extension. Keep thinking of pulling navel into spine. So again, this is, where it is important to keep that core engagement. Keep next one extended out long, and then moving again from the inner thigh, little tiny pulses up. Nice and controlled. So shouldn't be too big here. It's kind of another, like red flag I watch for when I'm seeing people pulsing. If it's really, really big, right? If it's really big, because you're dropping out of it. That's why. Because again, we should be starting at the top of the motion and then looking for just that little bit extra squeeze, which is a completely different beast. It's not going to be big because if you're already at the top, you should be able to get very little more out of it. But we're just digging for that extra little bit. But yeah, if it's big here, it's because you're going down out of it, which is actually easier. You might think like, oh, bigger is better. That's going to be more effort. In this case, no, it's going to be a little bit easier. Almost through this little series. Woo. Legs are going to be dead. And go ahead, release. Okay, let's stack the knees here. Pick up the feet. So we're doing clamshell, internal rotation, boom, boom. In 3, 2, 1. So open, rotate, feet together, slowly close up. So bottom foot stays in the same place throughout. I have so much cat hair on these leggings. Certain leggings also just seem to be more magnetic. These are one of those. I don't know. It may or may not show up. It probably does show up at least a little bit. Whatever. It's part of having animals. They shed. This isn't even their big shedding season though. Their big shedding season is like mean, whenever it starts to get warm here, usually around May is where things get pretty gnarly. But it's really just coming from Leo and Luna at this point. One more opening here, and then we'll go for that extension because we do get Layla's haircut for summer, which she actually really loves. She's always super happy when she's had a fresh haircut. It's just easier for her to maintain, easier to groom. Doesn't get matted because Layla, for you guys who don't know her, if you didn't see her at the start, I think she did pass through, is a Maine Coon. She's a big girl. She's about 12 kilos, so around like 25 pounds. And there's just a lot. There's a lot of surface area, a lot of fur. It's not the easiest thing in the world to maintain, so having her hair cut just 2 to 3 times a year makes it easier on everybody. And like I said, she really seems to enjoy it and is always in a great mood when she's had her haircut. She's due in to get her haircut. Actually, she does have an appointment for it. Do last one there. Go ahead, release, come up to the elbow, and we're doing that little side plank with the clamshell combo move there. But whether she gets in for that haircut or not, I don't know, because the soonest we could book in for her haircut was actually the same day as my 40-week mark of being pregnant. So chances are I'm expecting probably, I'm leaning toward it's going to go over that, so I think she probably will be getting her haircut. But you never know. She might be missing out on her haircut. We'll see. Or we might just have to get somebody, like a friend or something, to bring her in for her haircut. Easy enough. That would be an easy solution. One more here. And go ahead. Release. Okay, again, final thing on this side is going to be that little bit of bridge work for the glutes, inner and outer thighs. So coming down onto the back again here, feet planted, tracking forward, left leg is extended long this time. We lift, out, in, lower, okay? All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. So lift, sweep, sweep, controlled lower. And again, it's just a tap at the bottom there. So check yourself. If you're fully resting your butt back down, don't. If you are, just don't. Keeping hips nice and level at the top. So really a lot of work for that supporting glute. And again, like I said, still working inner and outer thighs by keeping right knee tracking forward, squeezing inner thighs back together. Again, you guys keep your heads down, keep going with this. I'm periodically just having to look at the timer to make sure that we don't do any more of these than we absolutely have to do, because I don't think anybody would be very happy with me. I don't think I'd be happy with myself. All right, go ahead, just lift here, cross ankle, nice little number 4, and pulsing here. So squeezing that right glute, keeping left knee pressed out away from you. Thinking of tucking tailbone under. So really using the glutes to lift here, not just hips and back. Nice deep breaths. Getting that stretch. And after this exercise, we're going to do one more thing actually down in this bridge position, just to work both sides simultaneously, balance it all out. All right, we got about 10 more seconds of these. Just keep pinching that right glute. Here's 3, 2, 1. Release, uncross. Okay. We're gonna come into a butterfly position again here. So knees open. If you guys have done a lot of my workouts lately, I've done a lot of these. We just keep coming back to these, but I love this exercise. You're gonna lift up, squeeze inner thighs together as you're lifting, so by the time you come to the top, you're all the way narrow, lower, open back out. Again, just light tap at the bottom here. Final thing in this bridge position in 3, 2, 1. So lift up, squeeze, again, thinking of tucking tailbone under, light tap at the bottom. Lift, squeeze, tucking tailbone under, navel to spine, finding a little pause at the top, just really checking in with those inner thighs. You should feel them. It's not the knees squeezing together, it is the inner thighs. So always think about the muscle group rather than like what you might be seeing. I just like the way this exercise works everything around that area. It's just a good multitasker. So yeah, I have done a lot of these lately. So if you hate these ones, I'm sorry. I don't see how someone could hate these. The single leg bridge lifts, yes, absolutely. Very hateable. Do one more here with this. And go ahead, release. Okay, go ahead, roll over onto one side. Press all the way back up. That was kind of our first big chunk. That was the bigger chunk. But we've got a bit more to go here because obviously we haven't even touched the ball, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do here is find sort of like a little pinwheel formation. Let's see, which side do we want to go with first? We're gonna do knees to your left, okay? So knees are both gonna be to the left here. Hips are square to the front. I'm not turned out this way. I'm not anywhere. I'm just in front here. With this right knee, go ahead, just push it back a hair there. So it's gonna be pretty much in line, right? We've got left knee, we've got bottom of the left foot, sole of the left foot, right into that right knee. That's gonna be kind of along one line. You can use the edge of your mat to find that. Nice, easy way to find it. We're gonna be doing a squat here. So you can just do hands on the hips, in front of the chest, wherever. You're gonna be lifting up, squeezing glutes, tucking under, and then tapping butt back down. Oof, not an easy one, but a really good one. Starting off here in 3, 2, 1. So good one for strengthening the hips. It's actually another good birth prep one, but like I say, whether you are going to be giving birth soon or not, whether you're pregnant or not, whether you plan on being pregnant or not, it's just a good exercise to do, okay? So don't feel like you're being excluded. Oof, that tuck under, that is juicy. So I'm definitely feeling my left glute on this, especially just that like underside. And really common, I know I've said this in one of my other like recent kind of pregnancy videos, really common to lose a bit of the glutes in pregnancy because of that anterior pelvic tilt. So as you have more weight in front, right, pelvis tilts forward and you do just lose a bit of the glutes with that. It's just, it is just part of it. Last one here, we're gonna stay down in this position and you're just gonna do a clamshell with this back leg. So lift, lower, foot stays down. Exhale, open, hips are still staying square to the front, press it down. Working these angles. These are actually kind of nice. I don't mind these. Back stays nice and long and tall here. So yeah, really good to think about working, engaging the glutes during pregnancy, and then also again, postpartum. I'm excited for that as well. I'm excited to work out at any time, I have to admit. I've really, really enjoyed my workouts throughout pregnancy. I've been working out since week 10, pretty much consistently 5 to 6 times per week. And I have really, really enjoyed that. Oh, I don't know who's ringing our doorbell. I'm gonna ignore that for the time being. Do one more here. And release. Okay, finally, the ball. Come down onto that side. I know you were thinking like, are we actually gonna use the ball? Yes, all this time we were. So come all the way down here. You can rest the head in the hand. If that becomes uncomfortable, you can also go all the way down there. Ball is gonna come behind the top knee, so behind the right knee. Give it a tight squeeze in. We're gonna bring the knees forward here. So hips and knees are both at a 90-degree angle here, right? Knees are just in front. So we're not back here as we normally are for like a clamshell, something like that. We are just here. We're just gonna be lifting in that more parallel position, lower down, hips stay stacked. In 3, 2, 1. So exhale, lift, knee and ankle level, press back down. Keep that tight squeeze on that ball. We're just getting a little bit more hamstring with that. Might as well. Still thinking of tucking navel in to spine. This is one of the annoying things about living in an apartment where we don't have a portero, that's what they're called, like a door person, I don't know, a desk person, a front desk. Often when somebody's like coming to the building for like any reason, they just ring every unit so that somebody will answer. And so often we'll get the doorbell ringing and it's nothing even for us. It's just like somebody wanting to be let into the building for some reason. Last one here, and then we're going to do a clamshell here. So you're actually going to touch knee in front, tap toe behind. Touch knee in front, so it's quite an angle. Tap behind. Bottom side of the body stays pressed down into floor. So we're going between that internal and external rotation with that extra little bit of hamstring burn at the same time. Working all the angles, nice and controlled. This is what I love about mat bar. It's just nice and controlled. But yeah, the worst is like when you're trying to take a nap or like when the cats are all relaxed and the doorbell's ringing and it's like nothing to do with you. They just ring every unit. Like, I understand that's part of just not having a door person, but really what I'm getting at is that I miss having a door person. Our last apartment, we did have one. Last one here, which for deliveries is so nice because you never have to worry about someone being home to collect the delivery because the door person can collect it. And that's like what they're paid for largely here. So bottom leg is going to extend long. We're going to bring the bottom ankle onto that ball. Ooh, it's all wiggly and wobbly. That's kind of the idea. So keep that extended long. We're going to press down into that ball and we're going to be drawing a big circle here with the top leg. I don't really care which direction you want to start in because we're going to switch it up halfway through anyway. Okay. So top leg straight, hips square in 3, 2, 1. Big circle. And the balance is really quite challenging there, because that bottom leg really wants to wobble around. Good one for working the core stability. It also just checks that your hips are staying stacked here. Because if I start moving back and forward with the hips, I'm going to be off that ball so fast. I'm going to lose that real quick. All right, let's do a full minute here. I was debating actually in that moment. I was like, should we just do 30? No, let's do a full minute of each. I'm gonna regret that, aren't I? We're all gonna regret it. Keep that bottom leg nice and long. I mean, I am using this top hand for stabilization as well. If you really wanted to go bananas there, you could pick up that hand. Oh my God. And find the stability. All right, go ahead, reverse direction. Also, I started with my easier direction first. Shame on me. Shame on me. So yeah, you'll notice I'm not getting too much of a pushback right now with this one, because to do so, I would have to release a little bit in my lower back and core, and the ball is not going to let me do that. So yeah, it really checks your range here. It's a good one. Just nice deep breaths throughout. Keep both legs nice and straight. Oi. This is the last thing on this side. And then we're going to go ahead and switch. So just a little bit more here. This leg is feeling very heavy, not gonna lie. And again, if you guys are using an ankle weight for this workout, hats off to you. The leg's gonna be feeling real heavy. One last one there, and go ahead, release. Okay, go ahead, press up. We'll switch sides. So starting first in that seated position before we even grab the ball, we're in that kind of like pinwheel formation. So again, just checking here, we've got right knee, kind of center arch of the right foot, left knee, hips square to the front. We're lifting up in that kind of mat squat in 3, 2, 1. So lift, squeeze. Woo! Really stretches out your hips too. So yeah, I like these kinds of workouts as well if you are a desk worker, which I feel like majority of people here maybe are. You can let me know. But I mean, anybody. For anybody. If you're just spending a lot of time sitting during the day, I mean, first of all, if you've got the time and you could do something other than sitting, that's what I would advise. Like, go get those steps in, get outside, move your body. It's always going to be better. But if you are kind of in a job where you're like locked in at a desk for a large portion of the day, these are so good for just getting into the hips, finding that range of motion there. Do one more here. And then we're gonna do that little clamshell here. And it's tight hips that are often the cause of lower back pain. So if you're having a lot of lower back pain and you're working in one of these desk jobs, good idea to do these sorts of exercises that strengthen and also open the hips. So strength, range of motion, that is gonna be your friend. And I've been, really happy, not necessarily surprised, but really happy that I have not actually had lower back pain in pregnancy. And I think it's largely because I have been really, really consistent with working out and supporting that area. And of course, I'd done a lot before, so there was a good amount of core strength going into it, which helps. But yeah, lots of good reasons to stay active, no matter what stage in life you are at. Do one more here and go ahead, release. We'll lower down to that side, grab your ball or cushion if you don't have a ball, and then ball behind that top knee, give it a tight squeeze, pull knees just in front of you here, and we're just gonna lift and lower in 3, 2, 1. So lift and lower, not too bad this one. Navel into spine. Yeah, I feel like this workout has been both relaxed and challenging. It's had its challenging moments, lots of control, but kind of like any bar workout. I mean, at the end of the day, it is low impact. It's low impact, so you're not like super straining yourself, but it's definitely hard. Just that small muscle engagement. I think when you watch it, you think like, oh, that looks really easy. But like doing it, just the control, it's definitely not easy. And really good one to support if you also, are lifting weights in the gym, stuff like that. Last one here, and then we're gonna do internal rotation, external rotation, tapping toes. So internal, bringing knee, the external, there we go, toes. Keeping hips stacked, so not rocking back and forward. But yeah, if you do gym workouts with weights, really good to also support some of those smaller muscle groups, really good for just the whole musculoskeletal system to do workouts like these as well. So Barre and Pilates, which just helps support and stabilize everything. So you're not just overloading those big muscle groups and putting kind of strain on the joints. So I always do both. When I work with clients for personal training, we do a mix of both. It's all good for you. Last one here. And then I feel like this is maybe the hardest in some ways. You're just gonna bring that ball out underneath bottom ankle. Whoop, there we go. Oh boy, why does this side already feel harder? I don't know. We're gonna circle the top leg one direction in 3, 2, 1. So, why does this feel harder? Oh my God. Okay, it's the same. It's the same. I just had to do those first couple of circles. Sometimes that's how it goes, you know? You're just finding the motion. Again, navel to spine here, keeping that stack of the hips. Ball's not going to allow you to roll back and forward, which, like I say, is a good thing. It's a good thing. Did anybody here used to watch Martha Stewart back when she had like, oh my God, I don't even remember what her original show was called. It was like the one that took place like in her house. So before she had like a studio audience and all that, she had just one that was like, it was just like Martha Stewart Living, or is that just her magazine? I don't know. Go ahead, reverse here. But she used to just say like, her like trademark line was, "It's a good thing." It just stands out in my head. I used to love that show. Big fan. Although like nobody, I mean, let me know if you enjoyed watching that show and would actually like try to do some of the stuff that she would put on there, like crafts or recipes, or even just folding like sheets and things. Let me know if you tried to do it and had success, because I feel like the average person, no. I'm gonna go with no. She makes it look so easy, and then you attempt it and it does not happen. It does not happen the way she does it. So I don't know. She's got the magic touch. I think about it anytime I have to like fold a fitted sheet. Last one here. I'm like, oh, I'll just use the Martha Stewart technique. Yeah, no. It doesn't work for me. All right, go ahead. Don't mind me pulling that ball with my foot. Go ahead, press up here. Final exercise we're gonna do here before we stretch. Little extra core work, still getting inner thighs. We're going to come up to hands and knees, bring ball between the inner thighs here. So not between the knees, not right up at the crotch, between the inner thighs. Hands underneath shoulders here. We're going to tuck toes under. You're going to think of scooping knees up in. So it's not like a big boom up with the hips, because if you're doing that, you're not actually going to engage the core. It's a scoop in. We're going to stay up. You're going to do 4 tight squeezes in on the ball, and then knees can come down. Full minute here. Final exercise in 3, 2, 1. So scooping, tucking the knees. We squeeze 4, 3, 2, 1. Knees down, little release. Again, scoop in, expand across upper back and shoulders. Don't let that ball bully you. It's not controlling the motion of your legs. You are controlling the ball. So squeeze it tight. You're going back out because you are choosing to do so, not because that ball is bouncing your legs back out. Don't let it bully you. These little exercise balls can be bullies. I know. I understand. Been there. So knees are barely lifted off the floor. All right, one more set here. Here's 4, 3, 2. Let's just hold 1 for 3, 2, 1. Release. Ball. Goodbye. Off to the side here. Let's just open knees out here. Push back into a child's pose. Melting the chest down. You can just take a little bit of a rock here, side to side, pushing one arm down and the other, and melting both arms down. Maybe wiggle the hips a little bit side to side if that feels good. And then go ahead, just walk the hands back into the knees here. Let's bring the knees together.
Hands come forward, step the left foot to the outside of left hand, just coming into a little lizard here. You can rock the hips side to side, maybe rolling onto the outer edge of that left foot. If it feels good here, if you've got left flexibility, feel free to drop to the elbows. Want to be careful if you are pregnant with flexibility, just not overstretching because everything's very loose. I feel very loosey-goosey right now. It might not look that way, but I feel very loosey-goosey, so I'm intentionally trying to keep things a little bit contained. All right, go ahead, step that leg back. We'll switch sides. Same thing here. Just have a little rock out. If you drop to the elbows on the first side, looking to repeat that with the second side. And go ahead, again, step it back here. Let's just come back to a seated position here. And again, we're just gonna pinwheel the legs to one side. So we'll turn knees out to that left side, right leg is flipped around, and you're just gonna lean back here. So thinking keeping hips level. If you've got space behind you, you can absolutely go all the way down to the elbows here. Normally I would, but yeah, I'd be crashing my head into this wall. So I'm just staying a little bit more elevated here, but you'll feel a really nice stretch through that right front hip flexor. So really going straight back from the legs, don't go off like on a diagonal or anything like that, just going straight back. And go ahead, press up. Now extend that right leg just out to the side here. Inhale, left arm up, exhale, take it over, nice side body stretch. We did, of course, work into the side body and bring it back up. Just switch the legs around the other way. And again, we'll lean back here. One side might feel tighter than the other. Pretty normal, pretty normal stuff. One thing that I always tell people who are like sort of desk workers is just be really conscious of how you're sitting during the day, especially if you have the tendency to cross your legs. Not a good position just generally, just, you know, like period. But if you are crossing your legs, at least make sure that you are changing sides and giving relatively equal time to both sides. Go ahead, press up here, extend left leg long, because so often people will just always sit like crossing one leg over the other and always the same side, and it does some gnarly things to your hips, let me tell you. It's these kind of like daily habits that really make the biggest difference. Bring it up, soles of feet together, knees open. So yeah, just being really conscious of your daily habits. That is what makes up your fitness really throughout life. So a little press forward here. If you want, you can take a bit of a rock, just side to side. Legs should be feeling good. Should be feeling nice and open. And then go ahead, just come in to any comfortable seated position. I hope you guys enjoyed this workout. If you did, please do hit that like button down below. Of course, do come back, so subscribe. There will be more at some point in the future. I cannot guarantee when, but I'm sure that I will be back posting new videos at some point. And yeah, let me know down below in the comments how you've enjoyed these pregnancy workouts, if you've been following along with them. And yeah, if you're pregnant, when you're expecting to give birth, and yeah, what you're looking forward to with that. And of course, you know, if you're not pregnant as well. Thank you guys for being here. You're all welcome. And I look forward to seeing you in the future. Bye.